Shopify is a global commerce platform that helps you sell at every stage of your business and sell more with less effort thanks to the Shopify Magic, your AI-powered all-star. Sign up for a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/redcircle, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/redcircle now to grow your business no matter what stage you're in. Shopify.com/redcircle.
With so many options, why choose Arizona State University?
For me, the only online option was ASU because of the quality. Their faculty was really involved with their students and care about your personal journey. The dedication to my personal development from my professors, that's been extremely valuable to me.
Earn your degree from the nation's most innovative university. Online. That's a degree better. Explore more than 300 undergraduate, graduate, and certificate programs at asuonline.asu.edu.
Hello again, lifers, Patreons, and convicts. It's P.T. Allen, and again, my stories are not for the thin-skinned or easily offended. Let's take a moment, all of us, to pray for the Overton family in this time of difficulty. Those of you that have heard my recordings before know I really didn't have any intention of becoming a local police officer. I got fired from a job because I was employed by the company owners. I was married to the daughter of the owner of the company. When she decided she'd rather be married to somebody rich than me, I got fired. I never really thought I'd be very good in law enforcement. I just didn't think I had the skills, but I know what I did do well at. I did well at eating and having a roof over my head. So I took a job as a local policeman when it was offered to me. I then served with a sheriff's department and later became a state trooper. Woody has told you many times, that a job in law enforcement is a front row seat to the greatest show on earth, and he wasn't kidding. So I'd like to elaborate on that a little bit and let you know what it's like in the life of a real life street cop. So I'm going to put two stories on this one, if you don't mind. Try and help Woody and Cindy out a little bit. I got a call one afternoon to the rich white section of the small town I worked in as a local police officer. Now, I can pretty much get along with everybody, regardless of ethnicity. I spoke Spanish. To the minority community, I showed them respect and care, and they respected me in return. So I had a great relationship with everybody except for two types of people. The rich people that thought you were less than garbage as a police officer, and let's say the I don't want to call them rednecks because that gives them too much respect. Let's say the lower income Caucasians. So I get this call to the rich white section, and it's a burglary. So I go up to the front door of this mansion, ring the doorbell, and I guess I must have stood there 3 minutes, rang the doorbell 2-3 times. And finally, the complainant opens the door. Yet she leaves the glass storm door closed. She speaks to me through the glass storm door. "Can I help you?" In a tone that I would have thought she might have been ready to tell me the service entrance is at the rear. She's got on a matching pullover collared polo type shirt and matching shorts, designer sandals, rings, gold rings on every finger, and about half as much gold jewelry around her neck as Mr. T had, with freshly salon done hair sprayed in place like a helmet and full makeup in the early afternoon. And I said, yes, I'm here to investigate a burglary. She said, okay. And nothing. So I asked, would you mind telling me what was stolen? And she looked me dead in the eyes and said, somebody stole my ice cubes. Again, I wish I was kidding. So I asked, where do you generally keep your ice cubes? And she barked, in the freezer. All right. Would you mind if I looked at your freezer? Reluctantly, as if I had leprosy or something, she finally opened the front door. Correction, she finally opened the glass storm door. So she starts walking back towards the kitchen, and I follow her. And she's got this huge stainless steel face, side-by-side refrigerator. Honestly, I'd never seen one that large. I don't know who makes that thing. Maybe Sub-Zero or Amana or something like that. I'd never seen one that big. She opens this huge stainless steel door on the freezer and points to 12 trays of water. Now, these people bought this refrigerator that probably cost twice as much as my personal automobile, but were too cheap to put an ice maker in it. So I look at the 12 trays of water and I reach in and touch the hamburger. The hamburger is not completely thawed, but it's a little bit mushy on the surface. And I began to try to explain, ma'am, there's your and before I could get the word ice cubes out of my mouth, she says, that's water. I had ice. At this point, I don't know what to do. So I pull out my little Columbo style notebook out of my top left shirt pocket and my pen and started to act like I was writing something down. And I honestly think I wrote down, Mary had a little lamb. And as I was facing away from her, trying not to laugh, out of the corner of my eye, I saw the cord, an electrical cord, could have been from the refrigerator, lying on the floor next to the mop. It occurred to me that probably the housekeeper, I don't think she's ever touched a mop in her life, had been mopping and accidentally pulled the cord out of the electrical outlet. So what do you do at this point? I can look at this lady who is probably taking tons of Paxil or Prozac every day and tell her she's an idiot, which will get me suspended for a couple of days without pay, or I can handle this situation. So I dropped my pen accidentally, in quotes, turned my back to the woman so she couldn't see what I was doing, bent over, picked up my pen, and plugged in the refrigerator. Since I was down there that close, I could hear the compressor on the refrigerator go on, ka-chunk, and then you hear the compressor fire up, like that. Now, what do you do? I'm in a pickle here and I got to get myself out of this so I don't get a complaint, because Chief didn't like me in the first place because I was always up to mischief. So I told her, ma'am, I believe I know who stole your ice cubes. She said, really? Absolutely. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go find her. You got to make it a her because it would creep her out if she thought she had a guy breaking into her house, the homeowner. I told her, I'm going to go find her and I'm going to make her bring your ice cubes back. And you leave this door here closed for about 3 hours. Stay out of the kitchen. She'll bring your ice cubes back. And then I'm going to charge her for misdemeanor criminal trespass. Would that make you happy? And she looks me dead in the eyes and says, oh, yes, thank you, officer, thank you. I'd be so grateful. And I went out, closed the storm door behind me. I heard the main door close, and I heard her hit the deadbolt. That was probably 1993. And to this day, I do not believe that anybody has responded to an ice cube burglary at her home again. Modern problems require modern solutions. So now let's fast forward a bit. After my 5 years with that police department, 5 years with the sheriff's office, I got recruited by our state police and became a state trooper. I was on a deployment somewhere far from home. I don't even remember what the deployment was. I did a lot of teaching. I taught 7 different disciplines of firearms, high-speed driving, PIT. I did a lot of investigations, and also taught hand-to-hand combat, which we call defensive tactics. A nice little euphemism there.
Women, have you ever had one of those days where everything just feels off? Like you're stuck in the middle of a mystery and you can't solve it? Your energy's crashing, your mood's swinging like a suspect in an interrogation room, and no matter what you do, nothing adds up. Well, Cindy has been there, and sometimes the real culprit is hiding in the shadows, is hormonal imbalance. Here's a twist. More than 1,000 hormone disruptors are living rent-free in our world, lurking in our food, our air, even our skincare. And when hormones go haywire, it can feel like you're trapped in your own personal true crime story, especially during premenopause or menopause. But here's the good news. This is the one case you can crack with Hormone Harmony by Happy Mammoth. All you need to do is take their free 2-minute quiz. You'll answer a few simple questions. Just like that, you'll get a personalized recommendation to help bring your hormones back into balance. No long investigation required. What I love is that Hormone Harmony is made with adaptogens, natural science-backed herbal extracts that help your body adapt to stress and hormonal changes. Whether it's PMS, hot flashes, brain fog, or sleepless nights, this product is designed to help you feel like you again. Over 40,000 glowing reviews don't lie, and neither do the results. 86% of women say they started losing weight. 77% say their mood improved. And the biggest win, 100% say they feel like themselves again. For a limited time, you can get 15% off your entire first order at happymammoth.com. Just use the code RLRC at checkout. That's happymammoth.com, code RLRC for 15% off today.
So I'm on my way back home, and all of a sudden, I see a patrol vehicle, a local patrol vehicle, screaming by me. This guy's lights and sirens running. He is pretty much in that kind of Star Wars hyperspace thing that the Millennium Falcon did in the movie. And so I knew what county I was in. I called the nearest patrol post and asked them, what do these local boys here in this county have going on? Do they need any help? And of course, dispatch says 1012, which means stand by. And they called me back. I hadn't gotten a half of a mile down the road, and dispatch says, yes, they need help. They give me their address. So I turn around, and at that point, nobody had smartphones. Oh, I did have a Garmin GPS that was just a couple of months old on my dash. That was the newest, hottest thing available. So I pull up to this residence, and local deputy briefs me on what's going on. The occupants of that residence was the mother, the mother's granddaughter, and the mother's baby girl. So you got 4 generations living in one apartment, which probably wasn't 800 square feet. We came to find out, or of course, correction, we observed that the grandmother had been hit in the head with a large blunt object. The mother had also been hit in the head with a large blunt object, and the baby was missing. And I asked the deputy, do you know who this baby's father is? That's the first thing we're going to do in law enforcement. We're going to check the closest people to the victim. So he tells me the name of the baby daddy, and out of the corner of my eye, I saw the chest of the baby's mother rise a little bit. The baby's great-grandmother, she was, graveyard dead. So I see the chest rise. She's breathing, however shallowly. So I go into, again, I was a United States Navy 8404 corpsman, which most people would think of as a combat medic. So I go into corpsman mode, and I start applying direct pressure to the wound. And when I say wound, part of this girl's skull was missing. You could see what I believe was her subdural matter. Yeah, the skull was gone. You could see the outer lining of her brain. So first thing I could think of to find, there was an empty potato chip bag on the floor. And I yelled to the deputy, get me something to secure this bandage. Do you have a first aid kit? Do you have bandage tape? And all he could find was a roll of duct tape. So I duct taped this woman's head closed, trying to stop the bleeding, and instructed him to call EMS. EMS arrives, and the woman has started to regain consciousness. And I asked, do you know who did this? And EMS, they're trying to rush this woman out as quickly as possible. And I understand that. They're in the right. I just didn't think she'd make it very long. So EMS, you know what? You win. Take her on. I'll follow you to the hospital. I'm going to try to get a deathbed statement. The local deputy, I whip out my wallet, hand him $20. By this time, another deputy had arrived to secure the scene. I hand the first deputy $20 and tell him, go to Blockbuster. Yeah, I know, I'm old. There was such a thing as Blockbuster back in those days. Rent a video camera and buy a VHS tape. You and I are going to the hospital to record a deathbed statement. So he and I both haul tail. I am 2 inches off the bumper of that ambulance. They are not going to get away from me while he goes to Blockbuster. And again, that deputy, bless his heart, I wish I could remember his name. He must have been traveling at light speed because he wasn't there. I think he arrived maybe 5 minutes, 5.5 minutes after I did. So they rushed the victim back to emergency room and to a private room, and all the doctors are giving her treatment, trying to stabilize her, and she regains consciousness. And by this time, the deputies arrived. He's got the VCR camera on his shoulder, and you remember how huge those things are. I hope you do. And got the VHS loaded, and he's got the red light. And I asked him, you got the red light, or you're recording? He says, yes, trooper. So I asked the lady's name, and she gave me her name. I said, where do you live? And she gave me her address. So she's still lucid. Do you know what year it is? She gave me the year. I said, do you know why this happened? And she says, yeah, baby daddy wanted custody, wanted visitation with the baby, but they had been legally married. They had not been legally married. Oh, he was not paying child support. She felt that he did not have any right to visitation of his child. And under Georgia law, she's exactly correct. So I said, you know who did this to you? And she said, yes. She gave me his name. I said, do you know what kind of weapon it was? She says, yes, sir. It was a sludge hammer. And here's what we found out. Baby daddy went to Western Auto. Yeah, that's how long this was ago. And tried to buy a firearm. Instant background checks were already in effect. So he was already a felon. He got denied purchase of a firearm. So he sought out the next best weapon. He purchased a 3-pound sledgehammer, went and beat great grandma to death, thought he had beaten baby's mama, the mother, to death, and took the child. And I said, what kind of weapon did he use? Yes, sir, it was a sledgehammer. And I asked, can you identify the weapon? And she looked me dead in the eyes with all those bandages on her head and says, yes, sir, that motherfucker was hard. At this point in the recording, you can see the deputy is starting to laugh because he was jiggling the video camera up and down. It was kind of bouncing. He was trying to restrain his laughter. And I got to commend him. He did a pretty darn good job. But we did track down baby daddy. He did have the child with him, and the child was safe. It took us less than an hour, maybe even 45 minutes to catch the offender, locked him up, turned the child over to social services, who had immediately pretty much released to the baby's aunt. Super nice lady, sweet as she could be. And I thought, great, we're going to send this joker to prison for life. But, this girl ain't going to make it. So I show up for court for baby daddy trial for 2 counts of murder. Come to find out, it was 1 count of murder. The child's mother survived, and I believe they used plaster to configure a piece of skull for her and put her scalp back together. She still had a bald spot, but she was alive, lucid, well-spoken, testified beautifully, and as far as I know, she's still alive today. But for the remainder of my life, I will still remember how difficult it was to act professional when that poor girl says, yes, sir, I can identify the weapon. That motherfucker was hard. And that's what Woody means when he says, this is a front row seat to the greatest show on earth. And I hope you've maybe enjoyed my contribution a little bit. I know I'm no Woody Overton, never will be. Woody and Cindy have talents that I can't even hope to aspire to. So please like and share Real Life, Real Crime, and hashtag Justice for Haley. Thank you very much. God bless, and pray for the Overton family. Good night.